From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang. In today's top story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos on Thursday brought the Libreng Laboratorio, Konsulta at Gamot para sa Lahat or Lab for All free medical and other services caravan at the Rizal High School in the city of Pasig. An initiative of the First Lady, the Lab for All Caravan is a flagship outreach program that offers an array of services such as free consultation, free medicines, and basic laboratory tests done in the Bagong Pilipinas mobile clinics. The caravan has visited 29 locations nationwide since May last year. During the program, the President and the First Lady visited the ongoing Lab for All services at the Rizal High School and led the turnover of 3 Lab for All mobile laboratories to the municipality of Santa Catalina in Ilocos Sur, Tacloban City Government, and Pasig City Government. The national government procured Bagong Pilipinas mobile clinics for deployment in every province and city in the National Capital Region or NCR or Metro Manila. As of date, all 83 provinces have been provided with the said mobile clinics. These complement the capacity of existing health facilities and can reach more patients in remote and underserved areas. Let us now listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Ang talagang kailangan nating batiin dahil po itong Lab for All na proyekto na ito na programa, hindi na proyekto dahil ang dami pinagkakalat dito sa buong Pilipinas. Itong programa na ito ay ang First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos. Ang mga LGU na magiging benepisyaryo nitong Love for All program na ating bibigyan at magbabahagi ng ilang mga equipment at tuloy din kasama rin ang mga serbisyo ng ating mga ahensya, kapwa ko na manggagawa sa pamahalaan, ating mga kababayan. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Natutuwa naman po ako at sa wakas ay nakasama ko na sa Love for All ang aking First Lady. Dahil po, papapaliwanag po ako. Dahil po, naririnig ko lamang sa mga report sa akin ang tungkol sa napakagandang proyekto ng aking may bahay. Ngayon po ay saksi na ako sa serbisyong dinudulot nito. Ang kalusugan po ay kayamanan. Walang silbi ang lahat ng yaman kung hindi maayos ang ating kalusugan. Ngunit para sa mga kapuspalad nating kababayan, higit na mas malaking pagsubok ang pagkakasakit. Lalo na ang mga nasa malalayong lugar. Ayon po sa tala ng Department of Health, mayroon tayong higit na 7,000 tinatawag na geographically isolated and disadvantaged area. O tawag namin dyan ay yung mga GIDA. Ito po ang mga barangay o bayan na mahirap puntahan dahil malayo, nasa bundok, nasa isla, walang kalsada, na dapat ikakabit ng mga daanan at tulay. Sa mga lugar po na ito, isang malaking hamon ang pagpunta sa klinik o sa ospital o sa health center. Dahil napakalayo at napakalaking bagay. Dahil alam niyo po, ito ay naranasan ko nung ako'y governor ng Ilocos Norte. Nakikita ko, pag dumadating po ang mga pasyente, pupunta po dun sa provincial hospital, kahit na sa RHU, ay masyadong malala na yung kanilang sakit. Kako bakit hindi sila pumunta ng mas maaga? At ang kanila ay napakahirap. Dahil pagka ikaw, may alaga kang bata, maghahanap ka na mag-aalaga. Kung nagtatrabaho ka, mag-off ka muna, magli-leave ka muna. Tapos, yung pamasahe. At lahat ito, isang buong araw, kuminsan 2, 3 araw, napakalaking bagay. Kaya po, ang aming naiisip ay imbis na antayin natin ang mga nagkakaroon ng karamdaman na makapunta sa mga ospital, dadalhin po natin sa kanila ang serbisyo para meron silang healthcare kahit sa malalayo. Meron din yan. Yung mga kababayan natin na malapit nga sila sa ospital, isang pagsubok naman ang pambayad sa mga eksamen at sa laboratorio. Kaya lamang po, kwento ng isang estudyante na nakarating po sa amin. Ang kanyang ina ay na-diagnose na mayroong ovarian cancer. Sa pamamagitan ng programang ito, ay matitignan sila ng doktor ng libre at hindi na kinakailangan pang bumiyahe ng malayo. Dahil sila na ang pinupuntahan. Yung lab for all, sila na ang lumalapit. Bali yung clinic, imbis na sila pupunta sa clinic, yung clinic ang lumalapit po sa kanila. Kaya po, ang mga proyekto tulad nitong Love for All ay isang napakalaking tulong para sa ating mga kababayan. Layunin nito ang makapaghatid ng maaasahang serbisyo medikal para sa lahat, lalong-lalo na sa mga pinaka-nangangailangan tulad ng ating mga senior citizen, may PWD, mga buntis, at may mga iniindang karamdaman. Mula sa simula ng proyektong ito, Mayo ng nakaraang taon, nakarating na po ito sa 35 lokasyon mula sa Luzon, Visayas hanggang pong Mindanao. Hindi lamang ito ang nagbibigay ng tulong medikal. Kasama na rin dito ang ilang pong pampublikong serbisyo gaya ng CHED na handang umalalay sa mga naghahanap ng scholarship. Nandito rin po ang NHA at Pag-ibig na gagabay sa inyong mga pangangailangan tungkol sa pabahay. Ang LTO, nandyan din para sa mga nangangailangan ng driver's license, marami pang ahensya at marami pang iba't ibang ahensya para yung mga serbisyo ng gobyerno, hindi lamang ang serbisyong medikal, kung hindi, ang iba't ibang serbisyo ng ahensya ng gobyerno ay inilalapit natin sa taong bayan. Hindi lang itong isang araw lamang. Siniusiguro namin na marami pang mga komunidad sa bawat syudad at probinsya ang mabibisita ng Love for All. Kung saan mayroong Pilipinong nangangailangan, pagsusumikapan natin na inyong pamahalaan ay maabutan ng serbisyong ito. Sa panig naman po ng administrasyon, sa pangunguna ng Department of Health, patuloy po tayo sa pagpapatupad ng mga proyekto upang magkaroon ng rural health unit, doktor, nurse, ambulansya, mobile health clinic, at iba pang mga kagamitan ang lahat ng lalawigan sa bansa, lalo na yung ating napag-usapan nga, yung mga gida. Para madaling maabot ang mga mamayan, ang mga serbisyong pangkalusugan, inilusad ng DOH ang bagong urgent care and ambulatory service centers o tawag namin bukas. Ito ay nagbibigay ng preventive, diagnostic, curative primary care service sa iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa. Mapupunarin niyo po rito, kasama po natin si GM Mel Robles ng PCSO. Dahil po may programa din at siya pinapangako sa atin na mula ngayon, gagawin namin ang lahat, titiyakin namin na ang bawat bayan, bawat municipality, bawat LGU ay magkakaroon ng ambulansya. Hindi na po kagaya ng dati na makikiusap ka pa, lalapit ka pa kung kani-kanino, at kung medyo hindi kayo magkaibigan, baka hindi makalusot yung request ninyo. Ngayon, hindi na po ganoon. Basta't kung sino ang nangangailangan ng ambulansya, ay bibigyan na po natin. At sabi niya, mayaman itong PCSO, baka pwede pang gawin, bago po matapos ang termino ko, baka gawing 2 ambulansya ang bawat bayan at LGU. Nagtatayo rin po tayo ng specialty center sa bawat rehiyon ayon sa Republic Act No. 11959 o ang tinatawag na Regional Specialty Centers Act. Alam niyo po, nung pandemya, ito po yung natutunan natin. Dahil nakita natin ang mga pasyente dinadala sa mga specialty center dito lamang sa Maynila. Sa Children's Center, sa Kidney Center, sa Heart Center, mga specialty center. Hindi naman talaga kaya, lalo na kung galing sa malayo. Kaya gumawa kami ng programa ng DOH at sabi natin, paano naman yung mga nasa malayo, yung malayo sa Maynila, o walang pambayad para makapunta sa Maynila, o kung naka-lockdown, kagaya ng pandemya. Kaya gumagawa kami ng programa at naglalagay tayo ng specialty center sa bawat lugar, bawat rehiyon, para naman hindi masyadong mahirap ang magpatingin yung mga may karamdaman. Kasabay po nito, nagpapamahagi rin tayo ng mga mobile primary care facility sa tulong ng mga lokal na pamahalaan. Layo naming bigyan lahat ng probinsya at syudad sa Metro Manila, yan na nga, yung mobile PCF. Gayunpaman, mas marami po tayong magagawa kung tayo ay sama-sama. Kaya nais ko ring ipahayag ang aking taus-pusong pasasalamat sa ating mga kaibigan at kaagapay mula sa pribadong sektor, gaya ng Metro Bank Foundation, ang Toyota Foundation. Maraming salamat sa tulong ninyo. Sila po ang namahagi at nag-donate ng 3 mobile van na may kumpletong pasilidad. Kasama ang top-of-the-line X-ray at ultrasound machine, portable urine analyzer, glucose and cholesterol monitor, at ilang pang kagamitang medikal na ipapamahagi natin sa mga lokal na pamahalaan ng Pasig, Tacloban, Santa Catalina, sa Ilocos Sur ngayong araw na ito. Hindi din po magiging matagumpay ang Love for All sa ating mga kababayan kung wala ang suporta ng ating mga lokal na pamahalaan at higit sa lahat ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, sa inyong pagkakaisa. Kaya po, hinihikayat ko kayong lahat, alagaan natin ang ating mga sarili. Samantalahin po natin ang mga proyektong tulad nito at ang mga serbisyo sa mga health center upang masubaybayan natin ang ating kalusugan. Tandaan po natin, ang pinakamatibay na yaman ay hindi ang laman ng ating bulsa, kundi ang tibay ng ating pangangatawan, ang sigla ng ating pag-iisip, ang pagiging malusog, ang ating puso. Bago rin po tayo matapos, gusto ko lang ulitin na kailangan natin pasalamatan ang ating First Lady sa kanyang ginagawa. Halatang-halata niyo po, hindi po politiko dahil hindi masyadong pinag-uusapan itong napakagandang programa na ito. Kung politiko ang nagpatakbo nito, siguro katakot-takot na publicity na yung lumalabas, lalong-lalo na ngayon panahon ng eleksyon. Ngunit, ang First Lady po, hindi po yun ang iniisip. Iniisip lang niya kung paano makatulong at napakalaking tulong itong ginawa niyang project ng Love for All. Maraming salamat sa tulong mo rito sa pagsulong ng ating healthcare system. Napakapalad ko rin na napangasawa ko ay hangad din ang pagtulong sa kapwa at sa bansa. Talaga kayo, masyado kayong mga Pinoy masyadong romantic. Kaya po, ako ay nagpapasalamat sa lahat po ng na-involve. Dahil hindi po nangyayari ito kung hindi po nagsasama-sama. Ang approach po namin sa pamahalaan, sa serbisyo publiko, ay ang aming tinatawag na all of government, all of the nation. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng ahensya ng pamahalaan, pagka may proyekto, pagka may programa, kapag may maisip, may makita kami na kailangan gawin, hindi lamang ibinibigay sa isang departamento, hindi binibigay lamang sa isang ahensya. Kung hindi, isinasama po natin lahat ng mga departamento na makatulong. Yan po, that's why, kaya po yan ang tawag natin dyan. The all-of-government approach, ang aking tawag. Kaya nandito po, ang DILG Secretary, dahil po, lahat po ito, kahit na anong magandang aming naiisip sa national government, hindi po mangyayari ito, hindi po tayo nagkita-kita rito kung hindi tayo tinulungan ng ating LGU, ng ating mga local government position, pinanungunahan na ng ating butihing mayor. Kaya nagpapasalamat ako sa inyong lahat. Ipagpatuloy po natin ito. Nakita naman po ninyo kung gaano kaganda, ang gaano kalaki, kung gaano karami ang tulong na may bibigay natin kapag tayo-tayo ay laging magkapit-bisig at lagi nating iniisip ang kabutihan ng ating mga kababayan at ang ating minamahal na Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Mabuhay po ang bagong Pilipinas.
And you just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said the Philippines will send a representative to the Third Asia Cooperation Dialogue or ACD Summit in Qatar. The president made the remark as he confirmed that he would skip the third ACD summit in Doha on October 2 to 3. This after Qatari Ambassador to the Philippines Ahmed Saad Nasser Abdullah Al-Homidi went to Malacañang Palace in Manila on Wednesday to extend the invitation of the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, for President Marcos to attend the summit. In a social media post, the chief executive said he assured the Qatari ambassador that the Philippines will be ably represented at the event. The ACD, inaugurated in Thailand in June 2022, is the first continent-wide forum in Asia which aims to constitute the missing link in the region by incorporating every Asian country and building an Asian community without duplicating other organizations or creating a bloc against others. According to a statement from the Presidential Communications Office or PCO, President Marcos and Al-Homidi also agreed to further strengthen the vibrant bilateral ties between Manila and Doha. President Marcos also expressed elation over the flourishing ties of the two nations following the Qatar Emir's visit to the Philippines in April this year. To recall, President Marcos and the Qatari Emir met on April 22nd to discuss ways to strengthen the political relations between the two countries and exchange views on matters of mutual concern. Al-Homidi told the president that Qatar is more happy to be in cooperation with the Philippines. Diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Qatar were established on May 5, 1981. Qatar is home to an estimated 242,609 Filipinos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine government is not expecting foreign digital service providers or DSPs to implement a significant increase in the prices of their services and goods following the enactment of a measure imposing value-added tax or VAT on non-resident DSPs. In a palace press briefing on Wednesday, Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr. said while a change in the prices of service and goods depends on the DSPs and is not always assured, any increase due to the VAT imposition would be minimal. On Wednesday morning, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. signed Republic Act or RA number 12023 into law, which imposes a 12% VAT on electronic or online sale of services such as online advertisement services and provision for digital advertising space, digital services in exchange for a regular subscription fee, and supply of other electronic and online services that can be delivered through the internet. Lumagi said the new law would level the playing field for local providers who are already subjected to VAT unlike their foreign counterparts. He also said the collected taxes will be directed towards the government's infrastructure and social welfare services programs. Around 105 billion pesos in revenues is expected to be collected in 5 years due to the new law.
Today marks a significant milestone for the Philippines as we witness the signing of the value-added tax on digital services into law. This is not a new tax, just to clarify, but a crucial step in ensuring fairness and competition in our rapidly evolving digital economy. For too long, local digital service providers have carried on and carry the tax burden of VAT while foreign DSPs or digital service providers, though profiting from our consumers, have not. This new law corrects that imbalance by subjecting all digital service providers, both local and foreign, to the same 12% value-added tax. This law strengthens the Bureau of Internal Revenue's authority to collect value-added tax on digital transactions and clarifies how the DSPs can comply with the VAT requirements imposed under the National Internal Revenue Code. This is a welcome support for the Bureau's efforts to collect what is due to the government. Digital service providers render services subject to value-added tax during their trade or business, much like their counterparts in the brick-and-mortar establishments. This law promotes for competition, ensuring that both local and foreign DSPs compete on equal footing, and in doing so, we create a more competitive marketplace where consumers will ultimately benefit from improved services and fairer pricing. Additionally, the new law is projected to contribute an estimated more than 100 billion in government revenues from 2025 to 2029, funds that will go directly toward nation-building efforts. We also want to emphasize the VAT exemption for educational services, a testament to the government's commitment to accessible and affordable education. Furthermore, the BIR is empowered with new tools to ensure compliance, including the authority to block digital services of non-compliant DSPs through online Candado program. This landmark legislation, of course, supported by our President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Senate and the House of Representatives, is a step forward in strengthening our tax system and aligning with international standards like the OECD's VAT Digital Toolkit for Asia Pacific. The BIR fully supports this law and will work tirelessly to implement it, ensuring a fair, competitive business environment that benefits consumers and drive national progress.
And you just heard Bureau of Internal Revenue Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In a related story, House Ways and Means Committee Chair Joey Salceda thanked Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. for signing into law that will impose a 12% value-added tax or VAT on non-resident digital service providers. Salceda insisted that domestic creatives have been taxed long before, while foreign companies were free from taxes. Because of this, local creatives are at a disadvantage. The lawmaker explained that the 12% difference in treatment is no small matter. Before this law, it meant that foreign creatives in the digital space could be sold cheaper than their domestic competitors. Salceda added that the law ends this unfair treatment. The Albay 2nd District Representative expects that in the first year of implementing the new law, the government may collect between 8 billion pesos to 12 billion pesos of taxes. Congressman Salceda mentioned that the 5% earmark revenue in the next 10 years for the creatives industry would be a potent source of development in the country. Salceda pointed out that the Philippines is the biggest creative sector exporter in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. That's why Salceda added the Philippine creative sector, artists, artisans, producers are the biggest winners of this law.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, on Wednesday said the national government is arranging chartered flights for the repatriation of more than 200 overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, in Beirut, Lebanon. In a palace press briefing, DMW Undersecretary Bernard Olalia said they are talking to airline companies so that the chartered flights would be able to accommodate OFWs from Beirut. This was after the scheduled flights of around 15 OFWs on September 25th were cancelled because of the recent bombings in Beirut. Olalia said around 111 OFWs are staying in 4 temporary shelters in Beirut and waiting for their repatriation. The DMW Undersecretary added that an additional 110 OFWs are applying for exit permits from the Lebanese government. Olalia, however, said the Philippine government is facing several challenges, including securing landing rights for chartered flights. He said land and sea routes are being considered in case the situation escalates and makes it impossible to take the air route. Olalia said the DMW, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, and other concerned agencies will adopt a whole of government assistance upon the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. He said each repatriated OFW will get 150,000 pesos in financial assistance from the DMW and OWA, as well as psychosocial services.
The main responsibility and task, of course, of the Department of Migrant Workers is to ensure the safety of all Filipino workers in Lebanon, per instruction and guidance by no less than our President. And in line with this responsibility, the DMW and the OWA, as an attached agency, continues to coordinate with DFA in ensuring the safety of all workers, Filipinos in Lebanon. In particular, we have a very active MWO, or a Migrant Workers Office in Beirut, Lebanon. It's headed by a labor attaché and 6 other staffs. And we will augment this MWO staffs by sending a veteran labor attaché. In fact, he is already on his way to Beirut, Lebanon. Labat Adam Musa, a veteran labor attaché who have held positions in the past with experience in providing assistance to overseas Filipino workers. Our MWOs in the Middle East are also on standby mode, and they are willing to provide augmentation team also to MWO Beirut in case the situation worsens. We have one shelter in the MWO of Beirut, and in addition to that one shelter, our labor attaché secured 3 additional shelters in case Filipino overseas there would be willing to signify for the voluntary repatriation. There are presently 101 Filipino workers in our shelters ready to be repatriated. The challenge is that we do not have flights. No? The supposed September 25 flight, which will facilitate the repatriation of 15 of our OFWs, did not push through because the flights were canceled due to the conflict. And as a consequence, we are trying to provide for chartered flights. No, we're talking to some airline companies so that the chartered flights will be able to accommodate, for example, no less than 300 overseas Filipino workers from Beirut. The other challenge there is to secure, of course, the landing rights of our chartered flight, no, care of the office of MWO in coordination with the Lebanese government. The other challenge is the exit permits of some of our workers. Apart from documented OFWs, we have undocumented OFWs who need to secure travel documents. And once they were given travel documents, we will help them in securing also exit visas or exit permits from the immigration of the Lebanese government. The DMW is also studying the possibility of other routes. Apart from air route, we will be assessing the sea and the land route should the case or the situation there worsens. So all in all, we are ready to assist our OFWs there. Around 63 is ready for repatriation, awaiting for flights. And per instruction of the President, we will be adopting a whole of government assistance. We will provide for all forms of assistance coming from both the DMW and OWA, together with the other agencies that will be on board, like DFA, DOH, and of course, TESDA. Each worker will receive no less than 150,000 financial aid coming from the DMW and OWA funds.
And you just heard Department of Migrant Workers Undersecretary Bernard Olalia.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, leave it up to the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, and the Philippine National Police, or PNP, on their plans to implement early the gun ban for the 2025 midterm elections. According to COMELEC Chair George Garcia, currently, they have no power to implement a gun ban because the campaign period has not yet started, which is scheduled on the 12th of January until the 11th of June next year. This was the poll chief's response when asked by members of the media on his reaction to the plans of the PNP to implement early the gun ban to prevent election-related violence. Garcia said he understands the intention of the PNP, but the law states that the plan is bound to the election period. Meanwhile, COMELEC spokesperson Rex Laudianco said other industries should be considered as they will be affected by the gun ban because the ban does not limit this on guns but also on chemicals and explosives.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, expressed its concern over the bombing of the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, ambassador's residence in Khartoum, Sudan. In a statement on Wednesday, the DFA called for full respect for the safety and safeguarding of diplomatic premises in accordance with relevant Vienna conventions. The UAE Minister of Foreign Affairs on Sunday reported that a Sudanese army aircraft has bombed its ambassador's residence in Khartoum, resulting in extensive damage to the building. The ministry did not indicate what specific day the attack took place. It said it would file a formal complaint to the United Nations and other regional bodies denouncing the act as a flagrant violation of the fundamental principle of the inviolability of diplomatic premises. The Sudanese army, meanwhile, has denied the accusation and instead blamed the attack on the paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Filipinos in Jordan are advised to stay in secured places amid reports of Iranian missile debris falling in several areas in their country, including the capital, Amman. The advisory dated October 2nd urged Filipinos to keep a close watch on the situation and abide by local regulations. Philippine Ambassador to Jordan Wilfredo Santos said 2 were injured from the falling missile debris, but none of them are Filipinos. Aside from Amman, local reports said pieces of debris and shrapnel also fell in Balka, Zarqa, Madaba, and Kerak. Amid the escalating tensions in the region, Santos said Filipinos generally feel safe in Jordan as the situation in the country remains peaceful. Meanwhile, Ambassador Santos assured that the Philippine Embassy is closely monitoring the situation and is in touch with the Filipino community, including those in the West Bank. There are about 48,000 Filipinos in Jordan and around 127 Filipinos in the West Bank. None of them have requested to be repatriated so far. The envoy explained that those currently leaving Jordan and the West Bank have concluded their employment contracts.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph, Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila. Dateline Malacañang.